So this is the new Forager XL on the back of this Hyundai fork truck down at the lumberyard. And you'll see we got this thing mounted on the back of this forklift. It's about 5.5 inches off the ground. And we've got one of the bolts removed on the back so that it can pivot as the operator's driving here. And that'll give us a little more motion in case we hit anything on the ground. So like I said in all the other videos, this thing is just a bigger model, basically the same thing as our original Forager series, but it's just slightly bigger, so it looks at home on the back of a forklift like this. So we've been working with this lumberyard for quite a while over the years. They've purchased some bar magnets from us to hang off stuff around the yard, a couple of separators, that sort of thing. And one of the complaints that they had was they couldn't hang the magnets high enough off the ground to be able to clear those spacers that are in between the stacks of wood. So that's critical because these things are all over the ground here, and while this forklift is driving around, he's going to need to run over those things and without bottoming out the magnet or the forklift. So you can see that thing's on the back of the forklift. We got it set up, like I said, about 5 inches off the ground. And that's the 39-inch model. It looks just about right on the back of this Hyundai. So sometimes guys want it to overlap over the wheels on the back. Sometimes they don't. So this seems to be about the right length for the counterweight. So these guys don't necessarily have a lot of metal debris problems around here because everything's wood. But they do say there's sometimes some banding laying around. And we've been down here before with another magnetic sweeper. We picked up a couple nails. Not too bad. But when you have a forklift like this running around anyways, doing whatever it needs to do, it's a very proactive way to stay ahead of flat tires just by having this thing hooked up all the time to be able to clean while the forklift's running. You'll see when he stops here, the magnet's going to swing because we pulled out the front bolt, which allows the magnet to swing backwards as he's driving around. So this magnet is rated at a 12-inch maximum pickup height, which means it'll pick up a 2.5-inch nail from 12 inches or a foot off the ground. So that's why it's perfectly fine to have this thing mounted even 5-6 inches off the ground, because it's got enough power to collect any type of metal debris, even while the forklift's moving around. So you can see the ground clearance on this forklift is pretty high. It looks like the running boards are about a foot off the ground, so you don't want to limit that too much by putting a magnet on your forklift. You don't want to eliminate any of that capability it might have. So that's why this thing is such a strong magnet, because it's designed to hang off the ground quite a ways up without limiting the ground clearance of your forklift too bad. You'll see it's about 5 inches off the ground, and everything else is about a foot, but that's a good way to still ensure good pickup height and good metal debris collection without sacrificing too much ground clearance.